SCP-7731, Level 1 Unrestricted, Containment Class Keter, Disruption Class Dark, Risk Class Caution. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-7731 is presently uncontained. Objects created by SCP-7731 events are to be incinerated when possible. Personnel are reminded that Site-48 holds no events or celebrations relating to Halloween. Description: SCP-7731 is phenomena which causes the periodic manifestation of Halloween-related objects and organisms within Site-48. Negev Desert Research and Containment Site. Site-48 is a small Foundation facility serving as operational headquarters in the Levant region. Additionally, SCP-7731 will occasionally make alterations to existing objects. SCP-7731 appears to be targeting Site-48 Director Nasser. A chronological list of SCP-7731 events is appended below. Designation: SCP-7731-1. Location: Site-48 Library, First Sublevel. Date: 22/10/2023, 1932 hours. Summary: a candied apple manifested 1 meter above junior researcher Samir Taha before falling on his head. Taha dropped his book and caught the apple in his hands. Just as a dozen black bats emerged from the bookshelves around him, the bats swarmed Taha while emitting high-pitched screeches and proceeded to consume the apple before abruptly turning to plastic and dropping on the floor. Director Nasser entered the library 20 seconds later, having heard the vocalizations from her office. She found Taha unconscious on the floor and immediately alerted security and medical personnel. Notes: Taha's fainting is believed to be non-anomalous, as he suffers from chirophobia, a rational fear of bats, and recovered fully after 2 hours. The plastic bats retained no anomalous qualities and were sent to recycling. As we're still trying to figure out the nature of this anomaly, I've enabled researcher comments and given all Site-48 personnel clearance for this file. Please catalog any new instances here as soon as possible and view the file frequently for any updates. Director Nasser. Designation: SCP-7731-2. Location: Director Nasser's personal quarters, ground level. Date: 23/10/2023, 17:28 hours. Summary: Director Nasser entered her quarters and found the windows sealed shut, the lights dim, and the floor completely covered in cobwebs, with a giant spider waiting at the web's center. The spider immediately began to run towards Nasser, who in turn cursed and attempted to exit the room. Hindered by the webs, however, Nasser slipped and fell to the floor, freezing as the spider crawled on top of her. Security arrived 15 seconds later with the intent of terminating the entity, but discovered it had been transfigured into a stuffed toy and was no longer a living spider. The cobwebs were also found to be made from thin strings of wool, which had been glued to the floor. 5 empty canisters of the original superglue were strewn about. Notes: although Director Nasser was uninjured, she remained unresponsive for a few minutes following the event. However, as Nasser suffers from moderate arachnophobia, this is not considered anomalous. Security footage revealed the objects manifested instantly, 12 minutes before Nasser entered the room. I'm sensing a pattern here. Could it be targeting our phobias? Dr. A. Segal. Possibly. For now, burn the spider, and somebody better get my room clean before I set it on fire too. Director Nasser. Designation: SCP-7731-3. Location: Break Room, ground level. Date: 24/10/2023, 10:25 hours. Summary: Dr. Zaina Hakim and Director Nasser entered the break room to obtain 2 cups of coffee. Upon stepping inside, 9 large pumpkins and 4 carving knives manifested midair, immediately falling on the tables and floor. At the same time, the fluorescent lighting changed its color from white to orange. Dr. Vered Shahan, who happened to be in the room, suffered minor cuts from the falling knives. Notes: First SCP-7731 event to alter existing objects. The lights within the break room have yet to return to their original color. All manifested objects possessed no anomalous properties, though the pumpkins were found to have been stuffed with M&Ms in family-size packaging. Well, there goes that theory. I guess it's just a Halloween thing then. Should have been obvious in hindsight. Dr. A. Segal. Can I please have the pumpkins? I have a recipe I've been dying to try out. Technician D. Yal. You're welcome to bake them in the incinerator. Director H. Nasir. 2 entries hidden for brevity. Designation SCP-7731-6. Location Site 48 Director's Office, ground level. Date 26/10/2023. 13:20 hours. Summary: As Director Nasir returned from her lunch break, she discovered a human skeleton sitting in her chair, held upright by metal wires. The office was littered with hundreds of candies, mostly composed of Reese's brand peanut butter cups, all wrapped in colorful plastic and cellophane on top of their standard packaging. The view from the windows was anomalously altered to display a Christian, identified by the crosses above the headstones, graveyard in a clearing within a dense pine forest, all beneath a starless night sky. Site 48's physical surroundings were unchanged. Note: DNA testing revealed the skeleton was a genetic match for Director Nasir, but was otherwise non-anomalous. Lovely! Director H. Nasir. Noting a mild tone shift from previous instances, Dr. A. Segal. Emergency notice from the Office of the Site Director. The cafeteria is currently haunted by several violent poltergeists. All personnel are forbidden from entering until a proper exorcism can be performed. Personnel are reminded that eating in the library is forbidden. Director H. Nasir. 6 entries hidden for brevity. Designation SCP-7731-13. Location Restrooms, first sublevel. Date 30/10/2023, 17:59 hours. Summary: Director Nasir exited the stall and looked in the mirror, which, instead of showing her reflection, displayed her wearing a stereotypical witch costume, and the restrooms appropriately decorated for Halloween. Behind her reflected self's back, the words "Party Pooper" was spelled out on the wall with what appeared to be blood. Notes: The mirror continues to display an anomalous reflection. Different Site-48 personnel have reported different costumes, though only Director Nasir's reflection shows writing on the wall. To anyone asking, no, the magic mirror does not in fact show visions from a traumatic past, nor do I have a deep fear of ruining parties. This anomaly is making me tired. Director H. Nasir. On October 31st, 2023, the frequency of SCP-7731 events increased dramatically, with personnel scrambling to remove, clean, or otherwise destroy manifested objects on the order of Director Nasir. At exactly 2000 hours, all lights within Site-48 were heavily dimmed, and sounds of howling wind, skittering legs, and low growls echoed in the halls with no clear source. It was at this exact moment that Director Nasir opened the door to her office, having just returned from the restroom. Begin log. View is from the security camera in the Site Director's office. The lights glow with dim red light instead of their usual fluorescent white. Director Nasir stands at the doorway, looking at the entity that hovers above her desk. Billows of shadowy smoke swirl around each other, forming a vaguely humanoid entity. 2 glowing red eyes glared from her from within the darkness. It speaks with a deep, gravelly voice.
Such courage, Director, to come into my lair alone, despite knowing of my power.
This is my office, dipshit. Get out.
Do you see how I remade the sad place in my image? How I manipulated and used your own fears against you to sow terror and discord?
Nasir rolls her eyes. Yeah, I was absolutely petrified with fear when those Hershey's spilled out of my drawer. Real nice job.
Hey, don't blame me when it is you who wouldn't do your job, Heba. Look at this place. There's not even a hint of holiday spirit. Not a single pumpkin until I came along. The only skeletons you have are in the closet, and it's all your fault. You're like the Halloween Grinch. You have no right to insult my fear-mongering while you burn all of my attempts to.
A cold rage bubbles inside the director. She speaks through gritted teeth. For the last time, we don't celebrate Halloween. The room is silent for 6 seconds.
What?
We celebrate Jewish holidays because a lot of us are Jewish. We celebrate Muslim holidays because a lot of us are Muslim. We don't celebrate Halloween because out of the 54 employees, only 3 have even a remote connection to that godforsaken, cellophane-ridden holiday. None of them want anything to do with it. I, as the site's goddamn director, want nothing more than to erase it off the face of the fucking earth. So go ahead and haunt some poor Wisconsin accountant with your $5 spooks. Just get out of my sight. Nasir starts. Pun attended. The entity begins to quiver, shadows swirling erratically.
No, no, no. That can't be right. No bats, no spiders, no candy? You don't even dress up in scary costumes? Why did I? Why?
Oh, well, I guess we do have a costume party during Purim, a Jewish holiday taking place in early spring, and it does contain lots of candy, but that's beside the point. None of us want you here, do you understand? Pack your things and go.
Purim, you say? Intriguing. I will be there.
The entity begins to disperse into the air. What? No, 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 it's not like that. It's not horror themed. Don't jump scare any of my. The entity disappears completely, leaving Nasir alone in her office. The ceiling lamps flicker back to standard lighting. She sighs, putting her hands to her temples before sitting down at her desk. End log. Following the entity's demanifestation, all SCP-7731 related events abruptly ceased, including objects which had been permanently altered. Preparations for the anomaly's resurgence on Purim, March 23rd, 2024, are underway.